Alright, you lot, let's talk about Shadenot. Used to go by Nade Shot, but after absolute clout-clogging diarrhea he dropped on stream, he's lost naming rights. This bellend had a tantrum live on air, mic on, ego out, cause his squad won't revive him in Battlefield. And what does he do? Blames entire Battlefield community. That's like pissing on your own leg and blaming rain. He's sat there, headset on, voice cracking like a preteen caught vaping behind bike sheds, crying out, "Are either of you medic? Is that guy a medic?" No mate, but you're one who needs medical help, clearly. Then real Pearl. "I just raised you, buddy. That's fucked up." Yeah, it is fucked up, but not in where you think. What's fucked up is you coming into someone else's house, spoiling carpet and calling landlord a scrub. Battlefield ain't Call of Duty, sunshine. You don't need to be a medic to revive a squad, mate. If someone don't raise you, there's a 90% chance they're a COD refugee. One of your Twitch-riddled, skin-sniffing, KD-humping disciples who wandered into Battlefield like it were just another dopamine vending machine. They don't res. Not 'cause they can't, but 'cause you taught them not to. You cultivated this anti-team, ego-dripping, stat-padding filth. You're not a victim of bad teammates. You're bloody architect. Battlefield got turned into a daycare centre for idiots overnight. After you and your influencer clique parachuted in with your Twitch viewers, your kill montages and your energy drink contracts, and turned it into COD with bigger maps and less aim assist. And now you're sitting there, zen withdrawal shaking your little man cave, crying 'cause Battlefield players won't hold your hand. Grow fuck up. You don't belong in Battlefield. You belong in a corner booth at Activision HQ, begging for another contract renewal between sips of your sugar-free branding deal. Real reason Shadenot and his cronies hate Battlefield, it don't feed their addiction. See, Battlefield's never been about chasing flashy skins or feeding your battle pass crack. It's about war, teamwork, tactical chaos. But that don't fit modern day streamer model, does it? Don't scratch that dopamine gland like a neon samurai skin in COD store. So here comes real truth grenade. Shadenot ain't mad 'cause the game's bad. He's mad 'cause he can't monetize it. He said, unironically, that no one will play Battlefield 6 'cause it don't have any interesting skins. That's not critique, it's a fucking confession. That's an addict shaking in his chair 'cause new fix ain't dripping with anime bullshit and day one bundles. He don't want a shooter, he wants a cash printer, and he wants you paying electric bill. This ain't about Battlefield being broken, it's about Battlefield refusing to bend knee to COD economy. It don't have waifu charm packs or limited time clown suits. It don't shove your stats in your face every 2 seconds like COD does, making you feel like a god when you're just spawn camping bots. Battlefield makes you work for the moment. COD sells you fantasy. And let's drag in TimtheFatMan Swagg and other commercialised cock garglers while we're at it. Every one of them crying about Battlefield not being fun enough, not being streamable, not having enough engagement. Engagement? Mate, if you need a loot box explosion every 5 seconds to stay engaged, you're not a gamer, you're a bloody lab rat begging for cheese. These people don't chase dopamine, they sling it. They're walking middlemen for corporate addiction. They need the followers hooked. They need flashy kills, ego stats, and limited time promo packs, cause that's how they keep audience spending. Battlefield don't play that game, and that's why they hate it. It's not about quality, it's not about bugs. It's about Battlefield refusing to bend over for the same marketing dick that's been raw dogging Call of Duty for years. So after getting rinsed for being a clueless toss rag, what does Shadenot do? He doubles down. Says Battlefield players at lowest skill floor I've ever seen. Oh really? Lower than COD console crowd that needs aim assist cranked to 11 just to walk through a doorway without shooting ceiling. This ain't talk tech, it's pure projection. Shadenot ain't calling out Battlefield players, he's describing his own fucking audience. And now that he's dropped them in real tactical shooter, they're lost, useless, endless chickens wearing clown skins and crying when the revive button don't work like it does in Warzone. And instead of owning mess he helped build, he blames veterans who've been holding this franchise together with duct tape and trauma since 1942. And don't forget, he's not just criticising community, he's mocking it. Battlefield players don't res, they don't help team, they don't do out. No mate, that's what COD players do when they're wandering thinking every mode is team deathmatch with loot drops. Battlefield players res the squad, they play support, they run ammo, they play fucking objective, They mic up with the squad and work fuck together. You lot don't even know what squad chat is. This whole narrative is spinning. It's fake. It's deflection. It's I died and I'm mad and I'll blame room energy. And even he admits it. Says he hadn't had a zen in 2 hours. That's right, man's raw dogging his emotions we had a nicotine crutch and suddenly we all have to hear about how bad Battlefield is. Jesus Christ. Get a grip. You brought a cracked out Call of Duty horde into a game that requires patience and team play. And now you're shocked it don't feel like home. Course it don't! This ain't your flat textured Twitch shooter. This is Battlefield. Bigger maps, slower pacing, no auto win gun bundles. And you just found out your empire of skins and screaming don't mean a damn thing here. So instead of adapting, instead of learning, instead of shutting up and playing, you throw a tantrum and insult entire player base like a man-child denied his baby bottle of dopamine. Battlefield didn't fail you, Shadenot. You failed to belong. Let's get something painfully, brutally tattooed on your knob clear. Kill-death ratio means fuck all if you lose game. Every day you see it. Some twat posting a screenshot. 45-3. I carried, he says. Team were trash. No, you didn't carry, you camping cook. You were off playing deathmatch while your squad got steamrolled trying to cap objectives without backup. You went full John Wick in a room nobody asked you to clear. Your KD's shiny, sure, but your contribution? Absolutely worthless. This is cancer that Call of Duty brought to Battlefield. KD kings, stat tweakers, highlight real merchants who think scoreboards measure worth. Battlefield were never about frag counts. It were about suppression, cover fire, tactical movement, and playing sodding objective. You want to go 45-3? Great. Do it while defending Bravo, not teabagging bots behind a rock or an enemy's spawn. You want to measure skill? Try pushing flags under fire while reviving your squad mid-mortar strike, not hiding in a ditch playing Pixel Hunter. And then there's worster, objective orphans. You know ones, camping 100 yards behind point. I'm defending, they claim. No, you're not, you half-baked edge gnome. You're failing. Enemy's already on objective. You laying in a bush 50 feet in front of him is about as helpful as a fart in a trench. Let me break it down. If enemy is scoring, you're not defending. If you're top at board but bottom at impact, you're just a well-decorated failure. And if you think Battlefield's a game about KD, you brought COD brainrot into wrong front line. See, TDM exists for a reason. Go there, stat chase all day, jerk yourself off of the numbers. But don't come into conquest or breakthrough acting like your kill count makes for losing every flag. It don't. It just makes you look like a dick with good aim. Battlefield enter shooter. It's a fucking war zone. It's chaos, mud, steel, squad play, and constant shifting tactics. It's dying 6 times to hold a flag for 10 seconds. It's crawling through rubble just to revive your last mate standing. It's calculated. It's punishing. It's adult. And that's why COD clowns can't hack it. Shadenot and his little playpen of dopamine junkies, TimtheFatMan Swagg and rest at pastel skin brigadiers, they walked in expecting Luke Pinatas and anime giggles. Instead they got suppression fire and team wipes. So what do? They cry, they moan, the set game's not fun, don't it, there's no vibe. No vibe? What? Not enough TikTok dancers and streamer bundles for you? These lads don't want a shooter, they want a fucking theme park. They want instant kills, flashy skins, endless unlocks and a constant streamer engagement juice to keep the viewers twitching like lab rats in caffeine. Battlefield doesn't do that, never has, and it shouldn't start now. But it's real kicker, these lads don't even hate Battlefield, not really. They hate that they can't sell it. No skins, no creator codes, no buyable advantage. No dopamine loops to open your wallets through a battle pass. Battlefield players don't give a toss about KD, skins or sponsorships. They give a toss about winning match, about playing fucking objective, about reviving your mate under fire without needing a zen stick and a therapist afterwards. So when Shadenot says Battlefield players are lost, what it really means is, I can't turn these guys into revenue. And that's it. That's real tech. That's why they're lashing out. That's why Battlefield crowd gets smeared, because we don't follow, we don't bite skins, we don't simp for sponsors, and we sure as fuck don't need Twitch clout lords lecturing us on how to play a game we've kept alive for 2 decades while they chase next content trend. So take your loot chests, your LED gun skins, your energy drink addictions, and piss off back to algorithm-friendly attention-starved dopamine factory. Leave Battlefield to broken bastards who still believe teamwork, tactics, and actual gameplay matter. Cause this ain't your Cartoon Network shooter, lad. This is Battlefield, and you don't belong here. Like, subscribe, and all that bollocks. Drop your comments and questions below. COD players don't need subtitles for this, and I'll see you next time, you magnificent